All right, go ahead.
Hey everybody, Astralites and other worldlies. It's good to be back on. So, it has been quite a week, you guys. Quite a week. I think everybody should know that Astral is back on Instagram. Yes, so those of you who've been following him on Instagram, he's back on there. He did a live today. So, this is his follow up video. He has not been feeling well. So he's been having quite an adventure this week. He missed about a week of work.
Close to.
Yeah, he missed about like a week of work. So, um,
Lord
and
knows I needed it anyway.
yeah, he needed the break. He didn't need to be sick, but he needed the break. But he just happened to be sick while he got the break. So he went on Instagram today and he did a live. And oh, thank you, sweethearts. And he
Here's a
did a
little
live,
cookie.
and so he was on there today. So that was good to see him back on Instagram today. I was glad to see that. But it's it's been one thing after another. It's been people. It's been bozettes, people acting crazy, giving us a lot of a lot of ideas for content. We're not happy he's been sick, but it was just like, wow, someone's acting up again. Okay then. Nice. So yeah. So anyway, yeah, he's not been feeling well, and people acting crazy and all kinds of stuff. So I think without further ado, I'm gonna just kind of let him expound upon what has been going on. Take it away.
Excuse me. So for starters, I was on 29th Street. I was on the light rail train, and this guy comes aboard. And of course, it's one of the days where security is actually uh, just doing their rounds and everything like that.
So they're there, unlike how they're absent at the pharmacy.
Yeah, and honestly, that is just pitiful. But anyway, this guy, he has like no remorse or anything, because as soon as they asked him for his ticket, he's like, "No, I certainly don't have my ticket on me." And the guy's just he's being polite about it. He's like, "Sir, you're gonna have to get off," or he just says, "Get off."
No, he was just like,
He's I could tell by the security, like, he was not joking around. He's straight up like, "Get off." And the passenger just flips out, and I could tell he was on something, because how hard is it to pay $2.50 for a stupid piece of paper?
what do you think? What do you think the drug was? Some kind of speed or?
He was like, "Why don't you do your GD, this and that? I'm called the military." I'm just like, what is this dude taking? Like, I've seen panhandlers who are homeless still be able to manage to buy a ticket. So that this guy was high on something.
He just didn't want to buy a ticket.
Of course not.
Well, do you think he had the money, or he just felt entitled, like he just didn't want to buy
No,
a
he
ticket?
felt entitled, because if
Okay,
he
he
had the money, he wouldn't have any problem with it.
okay. So he just would rather spend his money on drugs.
That's what I took from it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he'd rather be high. So then what happened?
Let's see. After that, well, that was day one on my way over here. So not too many crazy things happened after that. Uh, my stomach's been my stomach pains, I should say, because I mentioned it earlier on my Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. My stomach pains are gone. They're yeah, yay,
Yay!
oh yay,
Yay!
he grew a mustache. No, I'm just But my stomach pains are gone. I went to see Doc earlier today. He gave me some Prilosec, and well, we'll get to the clinic stuff a
Yeah,
little later on because
yeah,
I'm jumping ahead here.
yeah.
Um, let's see what else. I actually can't remember too much what happened the day after that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about the first time we went to the doctors.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, let's.
I remember. I told you guys this on Instagram.
Yeah, but I think we need to talk about it because it got like really confusing. This was the part where I wanted us to talk about what happened because it was like it was too weird. We went to okay first. He has a doctor's appointment in like 2 weeks, but he's been having problems with his stomach for like 3 weeks. So I'm like, no, I don't want to wait for him to have stomach problems for like a whole month and then finally see the doctor. And what if it's something possibly fatal, right? So we're not going to wait that long. So I'm like, let's just go in, walk in today. Besides, I had to go to the doctor anyway, so we're just going to go in there together. So we go in there, and um, his name is Ronissimo. Okay, so his nickname is Roni. All right, so they're
And that's on me because I didn't know they would call you by your actual preferred first name.
right.
So
Like,
that kind of got away from me when I signed the paperwork.
well, sometimes they ask you what your nickname is, right? They say, oh, okay. They sign you up, and they go, "What's your nickname?" And when we signed up a long time ago, I said, well, they call me Juliana, or my nickname's Angel. So sometimes they say Juliana or Angel, and I'm like, and I go up there. Well, they kept calling Ronnie, and they called someone named Renee, and they called that person Ronnie. And then they called someone else Ronnie, and they kept saying Ronnie.
This
Well,
was going on for nearly an hour.
well, his name's Roni, Ronissimo, Roni. And so they kept saying Ronnie.
And they didn't bother asking what the last name was, unlike the other nurses that were doing it.
Well, I'm used. I mean, I know it's a foreign name, but they're mispronouncing the shortened version of his name. But
And you guys even told me yourself at the clinic, like, you know nothing about me. Like, just be professional and say my full first name or my last name.
well, she kept coming out and saying Ronnie, Ronnie, and then she looked at this lady and kept looking at her and said Ronnie, Ronnie, and
No one's going to answer unless you say a last name.
right, and then the lady goes, "My name's Renee," and she goes, "Oh yeah, it's Renee," and then the lady got and I go, "She's saying Ronnie for Renee." And then she came out and kept saying Ronnie, Ronnie, Ronnie. She looked at me and I go, Henderson? And she goes, Ronnie. I go, is it Renissimo Henderson?
And she still says Ronnie,
Ronnie.
actually.
And I go, okay, but is it Ronnie Henderson? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, okay.
No,
So,
you don't ask that until later on.
well, she finally nodded and said yes. So I got up. So she starts talking to me. She thinks I'm Ronnie. And I said, no, it's him.
I have mentioned it could be a unisex name.
Well, that's fine. But I mean, I'm saying
I was so frustrated. She was like, "Oh, sir, we're actually in this room right here."
and it's confusing. So she doesn't know which one of us is the patient. And she goes, okay, well then why are you in here? And I said, because I'm his fiance. She goes, so you're supposed to be in here? And I was like,
No spit.
I go, he wants me in here. I said, I have to describe what I'm seeing him going through. And
It's like, yeah,
what I
no.
see him doing in his sleep.
It's like,
So I
oh
can tell
yeah,
you what's
no,
going
the
on.
person I intend to marry is going to. I told her to wait outside like a jerk.
Yeah, I have to tell you what he's been eating and
And
what he does in his sleep. So
don't get me wrong, she was a nice nurse, but her personality was off-putting.
well, I didn't understand because first of all, I said, "Is it Ronissimo? Is that who you're? Is it Henderson?"
Because it says it on the paperwork that they give them too. That's the whole reason for it. Is like, is it Ronissimo? Ronnie? I'm just like, if she says it
because
one
she's
more.
looking around, and I said, "Is it Henderson?" You know, because she's calling somebody named Renee Ronnie.
Because that's
She's
why.
calling someone named Ronald Ronnie. She's calling everybody Ronnie. I go, "Is it Henderson this time? Henderson?" And I kept looking at her like,
Because
"Is it us?"
from a professional standpoint, you're supposed to announce the last name to make sure you have the right person.
And one person came out and said last name such and such. They actually called one guy by his last name. I watched them do it. And
I saw all the other nurses call them by full names,
and I even went to the front because I said, I'm not sure they called us.
and
I
the
said,
receptionist said that, "Oh, you guys haven't been called yet."
right. She insisted we have not been called yet. And I said, okay. I said, can you make sure? I go, one nurse comes out and calls everybody Ronnie. And I said, my fiance's name Ronissimo. I don't know if they're calling him Ronnie or not. I go, because some people mispronounce it. And I go, I'm confused. I goes, I don't want him to miss his turn. And she
Long,
goes, he hasn't been called. And I said, can they say Henderson when they come out? And she goes, sure.
but yeah, basically the final time she came out, uh, as soon as she says Ronnie, Juliana's about to ask the same thing she asked for the past so on minutes, hour, whatever. And before she does, I'm just like, just ask him if it's my last name, because that'll make it a lot quicker, and I won't get as agitated.
Well, he was getting agitated because he's sick. He doesn't feel good.
Oh, even if I was in a good mood, I'd still feel agitated
Well,
about that.
it is agitating. He's sick, so he's already agitated. Like, how are you supposed? Well, how are you not supposed to get agitated by that? Because I already went to the front, said, "Can you make sure they do this?" This I go because they're already the nurse is calling everybody Ronnie, like everybody.
If I was super
Renee,
tired, I would
Ronald.
have been like, "Look, witch."
Well, I didn't want him to get mad because he's already sick. And I'm there like just trying to help him, right? So I'm like, is it Henderson? And I just kept saying, I mean, because I'm thinking, you're
And then
calling everybody Ronnie.
she's finally like, "Yes, it's Henderson."
And she looks at me like I am the worst, biggest pain in the A she's ever seen. I'm like,
Oh,
eh.
don't blame the people who are waiting in line because you refuse to say a last name like a daggone
And then she brought us
professional.
back there. She goes, I already called you guys an hour ago. And I looked at her like, she goes, I called Ronnie, and I go, that's why I'm asking if it's
I'm just
Henderson. I go, because his name isn't
I'm
Ronnie.
just like my fiance is gonna choke the life out of her.
Well,
For
I
that
looked
one.
at her, go, his name isn't Ronnie, right? And I just looked at her pointedly. I go, that's not his name. That's why I'm asking if it's
And
Henderson.
that's partially on me because they ask you for your preferred first name, and I go by Roni.
But
But
they're mispronounced. Well,
that's only
it's
because I thought they would add a Henderson to that.
yeah. I thought they would
Apparently they
too.
don't, so I just went, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna fix it, go by Astral, because you can't that up anyway.
Right. That's why I just tell people to call me Angel, because I say my name's Juliana and they try to say Julianne or
I
Julie,
remember
and it's
that
just like they can't F up
because
Angel.
a lady called me Astral today. I was walking right towards her. She looked like she didn't know who I was. I was like,
And I
yeah,
said
I'm Astral. I'm
yeah.
walking right towards you.
I said that's Astral. That's who you want. And she just kind of looked at us like we were a couple crazy folks. I go, because I said they keep calling him Ronnie, so that we have to have him called Astral now. And she's like, she's kind
It
of like
was
looked at us like,
it was beyond flustering.
well, she just kind of looked at us like we were crazy. I go, we have to have that as his nickname now because they keep calling him Ronnie. But I understand, like, we both have European names and people are going to say them wrong.
I'm
Okay,
like, look,
we get it.
you work in a professional setting. You're supposed to be professional. You're supposed to announce the person's last name as well. You can't
Right.
just be like Bueller,
Bueller.
Bueller,
I mean,
uh,
yeah.
Ferris. No, Jonathan.
I mean, it's
Like, get the fuck out of here with that.
my last name is an American last name. Everybody can say it. That's I get. Yeah,
My
I get
last
it.
name is Scottish, apparently.
Well, if they said Henderson, I mean, they can say that. They should just say Henderson, okay?
Son of Henry.
Right? They should just say that. I mean, because they can say that, but I get it. They're mispronouncing your foreshortened first name. I get it because they're saying it the American way, and it doesn't sound right. Because people try to call me Julie and Julianne and all kinds of names that are not Juliana. So I'm like, just call me Angel. You guys can't mess up Angel.
That went on for an hour. I was so irritated because I kept an eye out on the lobby, and we were one of the few people still left in
Yeah.
there.
And I went to check with reception. I go, oh, I really appreciate this. I appreciate you guys straightening it out. And I wasn't all Karen up there or anything like that. I was just really nice about it. I go, yeah, because he's in a lot of pain. And I keep checking with, I said, I kept checking with the nurse. I go, you mean Henderson? And she keeps going, no. And every time she comes out, I go, Henderson. And she keeps going, no, Ronnie. And I said, okay, I go, so can you make sure she says Henderson when she comes out? And the nurse was like, at the reception desk, she goes, oh yeah, it'll be okay. And
No,
she was,
I think you only asked if it was Henderson twice. Like the first time, she didn't catch it.
well, she was, I had, I think you weren't there. I talked to her another time when you weren't even sitting there.
Mm.
I talked to her like, and I was just like, is it Henderson? And she goes, no. And she just kind of like looks at me and she goes, and the other lady who's sitting there, she goes, my name's Renee. And she goes, yeah, I mean you. And I was like, you just said Ronnie. And
Like
she was calling everybody Ronnie. And I'm just like,
you dumb witch.
well, I'm like, well, does she mean Roni? And I was like, and the lady's name was Renee. I was
You know, a
like,
guy's name can be Renee too.
I know it means reborn in French. It's another unisex name. Ronnie and Roni are unisex names. Renee is a unisex name. Angel is a unisex name. I mean, when they call Angel, a bunch of other people are going to get up too. But I can't say
I
Juliana.
guess you guys can say that was the highlight of our week so far.
Yeah. But I mean, we were kept out there an hour because she just wouldn't say the name right. And I kept saying, is it Henderson? And she kept looking at me like I was the biggest sugar honey iced tea disturber she's ever seen in her life. I'm just kind of like, can you like give us clarification? I need him seen, he's in a lot of pain, you guys. Come on, like
But it was
why are you
easier
being like
today.
this?
They call me by Astral, and
Even though they looked at us funny.
I think the lady was just confused.
Yeah, she was like,
Like
but
I don't think she looked at us funny.
okay. Well, she did look confused though. She didn't really look at us funny, but she did look confused. She wasn't like looking at us
I was
like we were
like,
crazy.
oh, I wasn't like this, but I was about to be like,
It's okay.
I'm Astral. Hi.
I was like really happy when she said that. I'm like, she called you Astral. Have them call me Dark Mask Diva. That would be too funny. Catacombs, right?
No, I guarantee you that they'll just say last name because they'll just be like, Dark Master. Yeah, I'm not reading that.
Like, man, we've got some crazy patients in here. You're one of the psych patients, huh? That's what they'll say.
In the back of their head, they're just like, what do you think this is? Starbucks?
Yeah, right. Exactly. They're like writing it on a cup for me, and then I go to take it to the urine room. No, just kidding. Yeah, I had to go there. No, but
Remember, I'm not monetized yet, so just tread carefully on.
I know, but I just made your show better.
Yeah, and I saw one person freaking show up and leave
Sorry. But it's just kind of
a
like,
while ago. I mean,
my bad. But it's like you can change your gender, but they can't get your name right.
we actually talked to a person who's planning to transition. I thought
Yeah,
that
that
was
was kind of
very
neat.
kind person.
Yeah. Well, they sat down next to us and they're like, "How you doing?" And I go, "We're not doing too well." I go, "He's not feeling well, and they're not getting his name right and stuff like that." And she, who's turning into a he, said, "I just found out I can get my hormones today." I said, well, good for you. I was like, good. Well, here, finally,
I
here's a
think
happy
they said
person.
testosterone actually.
Yeah, testosterone. I said, good for you. Here's a happy person. Okay, well, here's a person who's happy, who gets to realize their authenticity. Okay, well, here's a happy person. So,
And I get to go back to work tomorrow afternoon.
mm,
Some simple work, ushering, just cleaning the theaters,
yeah,
just for a few hours, and I get to go home, relax.
yeah. So it's going to be like low key.
And I think I only work a few hours the next day, if I remember.
Yeah. So it's not like anything strenuous or anything like that.
But that was basically the highlight of our week so far. Um, let's see what else. Um,
Well, I mean, once she took us back there and figured out who we were to each other, which one of us was Ronnie, and then the nurse was pretty nice. She set you up for an appointment today, and then we saw the doctor today, and he was really cool. He was like the most chill doctor. So that was cool. That doctor was cool.
definitely.
On the way home, oh, we went to the pharmacy.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say don't skip the pharmacy.
Yeah, let's not skip the pharmacy.
So
This is the pharmacy with all the bozos
and Karens as well,
and Karens.
or whatever you call male Karens in this case.
Well, there was a literal Karen, a female Karen in there one time too.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about today, the
Right.
guy who came in.
But he was a cool Karen though. He wasn't like a troublemaker. He was like the most classy Karen I've ever seen. He wasn't like
Because you know how Juliana's been telling you guys she's been having trouble with the phones, trying to set appointments and things like that. Somebody actually decided to go in person and put people on blast for that.
yeah. Yeah. Do you want me to describe it?
Yeah, you probably do better.
Okay. So this guy walks in. He was very calm, cool, and collected, and he goes in there. And first he goes in and he speaks to the dentistry department. He says something like, "I'm having problems with the pharmacy, and every time I call in, I try to call in my script, and they said we can't fill the script, and I can't get a real person on the phone, and I can't, you know." He goes, "I can't take days off work and come in here and not get my pills." And he goes, "I need a complaint form and all this stuff." So I guess they gave him at the dentist office, gave him a complaint form. So this is I'm going to describe our doctors. It's kind of a situation where you can get your complete medical needs in one center. Okay, you can get dentistry, you can get blood test, you can get your general practice, and you can just get everything done in one central location. Triage, like everything is in one place. So he's hitting up all the different places to figure out where he could get basically where the complaint department was. Okay, so they sent him straight to the pharmacy so he can go straight and talk to these people. My problem with the pharmacy is I call in and it says there's no more refills for this. And I'm annoyed because I'm thinking, why did I just talk to my doctor the other day and now there's no refills when I was just prescribed something? Like, what's going on here?
Because
So,
someone doesn't know what they're doing.
well, yeah, like I don't get it. Like, if you're a pharmacy technician, you went to school for 9 months. Okay, if you're a pharmacist, you have your doctorate. That's 4 to 6 years. Where's my pills? Just saying. you know and the thing about that pharmacy that pharmacy's full of bozos. I don't mean the employees, I mean the customers. There's just an inordinate amount of bozos in there. Okay, like, and there never seems to be a security guard. Okay, and like no one gets the phone, like, ever. And that would be fine if I can just punch in my numbers and they could say it'll be ready in 2 days. But it always says there's no refills. And so I always have to go in there and talk to somebody. Like I can't just go in there or send him or do something. I always feel like I have to go talk to my doctor and say, why can't I get my pills? So I'm like, what is this? So anyway, that pharmacy is I actually like the people that work there. That's the only problem. I just don't like, it just seems like it's not run very well and it's not supervised very well. Because the other patients there are they're unruly. And I know why they're unruly, because their medicine is not being handled properly. That's why people are in there acting up.
And that's the primary reason I don't like going to clinics. I don't like visiting doctors or anything like that. I'm one of those, I'm more of a self medicated type of person. I like doing things all natural. I like using things like Welly, I use
Hmm.
Ollie,
Hmm.
basically all natural vitamins or supplements, things like that.
Oh yeah, that's totally understandable. I mean, I need, like I have to take like blood pressure pills and stuff like that.
Because
I
for
have
one
to go
thing, you
there.
don't need insurance for that.
So, I mean, I have to go in there, and it seems like every time I go in there, I come back with another bozo story. So there's usually bozos in there. The bozos aren't bothering me though. They're always bothering this one particular lady. I don't know what it is about her. She just bozo magnet. They're always bothering her for some reason. But this gentleman goes in there, and he goes in there and he's got a mask on and everything. He's just very calm, cool, and collected. He goes in there and he goes, "Excuse me." And he goes, I need to he goes, "I've made out a formal complaint and I need you guys to make a copy and keep one for yourselves. And I'm going to submit the other one." And
They just shredded up.
I know. And he goes, "I really need to have a talk to somebody." He goes, "And I really hate to be a Karen." And I go, "Here comes the Karen." As soon as he comes in, because I knew who he was, I heard him talk to everybody about what was going on. And Astral's like, mm-hmm, because he could tell he was going to be a Karen by just the way he carried himself when he walked in, because he was very like, he was very classy the way he just carried himself in, but we can tell that he meant business. But he wasn't
Now,
one of
Karen's
those.
cause problems. He's actually trying to solve solutions.
Right, right, but he wasn't like one of those annoying Karens. Like you can like, I'm very annoyed by Karens because they're usually like,
I didn't consider him a Karen at all.
I did not consider him a Karen either. But it's just the fact that I had heard him complain to a few other people because he was asking what he was supposed to do. But he came in and I'm like, okay, here's the guy who's going to be a Karen because he's going to need to talk to the manager, because I heard him ask for the manager. I'm like, oh, Karen moment, here we go. I go, watch this. Something happened to this guy, right? And he goes, "I really hate to be a Karen about this." He goes, "But every single time I go to ask for my medicine," he goes, "I have to take an entire day off trying to chase my medicine down." And he goes, "I really like this clinic. I like the staff here. I like everybody here." He goes, "But this is just absolutely ridiculous. I can't get anybody on the phone. I just really need my medicine. I don't want to have to take a full day of work off just to chase my medicine down, just because I can't get my scripts refilled." And I'm thinking it's happening to the rest of us too. I mean, that's why everybody in here gets mad. And we say, it says the scripts are filled, and I get in line to pick it up, and they always go, "Oh, you're going to have to sit and wait." It's like, well, then why do I get the text to say it's filled? I mean, they do that to everybody. And he goes, "I really, hate to blah blah blah," and he's talking, and he's just like expressing himself so like eloquently and all this stuff. And he turns around, he turns around and he looks at us, and I just kind of give him the thumbs up, like, way to go. Because I was just like, because they need to hear that. I mean, they're doing it wrong. I'm like, you guys went to school to handle this better. I mean, you guys should be doing this better. I mean,
You guys went to school because you wanted to make a difference in the community, and sadly, you just become another part of the problem.
well, I mean, these these are people. Okay, these medicines are supposed to save your life. I mean, these are people that need pain management. These are people that need to be able to regulate their emotions. These are people that need to keep their blood pressure down. I mean, this is medicine. It's like people need these pills to function. It just, They shouldn't have to take a day off of work. They shouldn't have to chase down their medicine like they're a bunch of street addicts chasing a bag. They should just be able to get their dang pills. You know what I mean? They should just be able to go in and get them and stuff like that. It's not like they're a bunch of drug addicts in there, like harassing people. They're just regular people who need their medicine.
And that was another reason I was about to start getting upset again, was because they were telling me, oh, it says your primary is not this, is not that. I'm just being real calm with this lady. I'm just telling her, you know what? I'll pay whatever I need to. Let's just get this done. I didn't say this next part, but I was just like,
You're thinking it.
I really do not need to hear this condescending explanation, that runaround speech they always give.
Well, I'm like, I know you take his insurance. You guys are just.
If you call your insurance and you do this and that, I'm just like, I'm not doing all of that. Just give me the numbers so I can pay and go. That's all I want to do.
It's like, I
I'm
know
very simple.
you guys take his insurance. I know you do. Like, quit giving him the runaround.
It's like my primary is not on there. Okay, you know what? I don't care. I have more than enough to pay for whatever it is.
And it's just, I mean, people are in there sick. And it's just like, why are they hassling? And I mean, and they have his insurance on record. And I'm on his list to pick his medicine up. We pick each other's
And
medicine
I
up all
already
the
called
time.
last time. They said there was nothing wrong with it.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's why I'm like, that's why I self-medicate, so I don't have to deal with this typical soft world BS, basically.
Well, I mean, the guy was really polite about it and everything like that. But I mean, because I get along with that particular guy. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, you don't need to give us the runaround like this. I mean, his insurance is on file, and he was like looking at me like, well, I know you, so let me go check and let me go try to make this right. And he was just kind of looking at me like he was going to do it because he knew me. You know what I mean? But it's like, I think if he didn't know me, he would have made it more of a hassle. To be honest, I kind of get that feeling. But the guy who had to come in and be a Karen about it, I'm like, how many people need to come in here and complain? I feel like,
Because no one's doing their job properly.
well, I feel like I need to complain because there's bozos in there and
They're the reason that
people that get hassled.
They're the reason she even had to switch doctors, like like what is it, a therapist, something like that.
Um, to whom are you referring?
Because you were saying that you're seeing this new person.
Yes. I have to go talk to another therapist in a whole nother building that has nothing to do with this organization at all. That has nothing to do with these people whatsoever. The therapist I go talk to about my past trauma issues and stuff has nothing to do with this building at all. I had
And
to.
he was being nice about it. I'm saying it it actually is their fault, because they're the ones running the place and they have no idea what they're doing. Otherwise, they
Yeah.
wouldn't be getting so many complaints and people coming in and complaining in person.
Yeah, yeah. There are some things that I think if they just kind of tightened a few screws here and there, they could fix the system.
It's
Like
like,
the
what is so wrong with answering a simple phone or transferring a call? How is that so difficult?
Well, I mean, I feel like the guy fixed the situation with the insurance because he was used to me because I'm in there all the time. I feel like he fixed it for us.
And I already know how, because I know how these managers work. The employee is going to tell the manager what happened, and the manager is going to say some sort of patronizing speech like, oh, it's we can only do so much to do this, to do that, so on and so forth. Shred the paper.
Yeah, and I mean, and the guy was so classy about it and so nice about it. I'm just like, wow, he's really handling it very well. I would just be livid, like, I'm just really tired of you guys jerking me around. And
Because
he's like,
that's
I
all
really
people
hate
do.
to be a Karen about it. And I'm like, dude, you're not being a Karen. A Karen goes in there and just is like, and just like makes everybody hate her. You're being a nice guy about it.
That's why I'm like, these people are the reason we still have an opioid crisis.
Yeah. Well, speaking of somebody who used to be dependent on benzodiazepines, it's because I live in a world full of people like this, and I'm not making an excuse that I used to be an addict, but I have to be around people like this. I had to work around people like this all the time. Just having to cope with people like that. And that's, I'm not making an excuse. It's just, years and years of having to cope with this. It's like, no
And if you
wonder people get hooked on stuff.
and if you guys have been on benzo or anything else, I'm sure you can relate to what she's talking about.
They're hard to kick because being on them and then having to not be on them and having to deal with the level of being annoyed, not having them in your system, and having to just face being around how annoying people are without being sedated, after being sedated for years and years and years, and you're just like, I forgot how annoying this was being sober, having to deal with people like this, and having, and having to, like, just having to deal with it, because people, they just, they're just saying what you want to hear, so you'll be quiet and go away. And I have to be like super polite, and I had to say, I had to say to the pharmacist, because I know the tech that talks to me, I know he likes me because I talk to him all the time. I go, well, I mean, are you absolutely sure that you guys also don't take his other form of insurance? And I was telling them about his other form of insurance. I go, because you take mine and I have that insurance. And he goes, you're right. And it's like someone else would get really mad. And I'm like, pretend you're high and that you're not mad. I had to
Like you're telling me my you're telling me my primary insurance is so on and so forth, and I'm just like, if my primary insurance was in any sort of trouble, it wouldn't have been accepted in the first place. Henceforth, it's called primary.
yeah, because I have primary and secondary, and I have that insurance. And I'm like, I know I would be able to buy those medicines with that particular insurance that I
It's
have.
like you better
So
to give
he,
me a discount.
so he would be able to. I mean, it makes perfect sense. So why can't he use that particular insurance to buy that particular
And
medicine, right?
Juliana was like, "So how'd it go?" I was like, "I was able to pay $9."
And that was a third of the cost. So I'm like, okay.
I
See,
was
it's
like, "You
like,
better sign me up for Good RX or something if you keep putting me through this."
well, I mean,
It's
why would they take my insurance, which is that same type of insurance, and not take it from him? I mean, that's discrimination. Come on. They needed to, I mean, the guy couldn't get away from that. I mean, why would they discriminate against him when they're taking that insurance from me? Give me a
and
break.
I don't get how it's discrimination, being that a bit of the staff, I believe, is Muslim descent. Like that just be a little too weird.
Well, I mean, okay, a very diverse group of people goes in there.
Mm.
Um, Most of the people that go in there, okay, I live in a gay neighborhood. So most of the people that go in there are gay people. Um, the guy that was the Karen, he was a gay guy. And so he goes in there and he was very polished and smooth, and the way that he came off was just very classy. I loved it. I love how some gay guys are. They're so cool. I loved it, and the I really just, it's just, there's so much diversity there. So I don't know why somebody would like discriminate, like you said, against anybody.
the staff's very diverse,
Yes,
and as well as the clients. So
exactly.
that's basically what I was trying to say. Like it would
Yeah,
make no sense.
right. I mean, I guess I was trying to say that too. People from all
I don't even
nationalities
see
go in there.
I don't even see diversity. I just see people being womp rats. Like they have
Right.
no clue what they're doing with the
Oh
phones,
yeah.
with the computers, or even with
Oh
people.
yeah. No, I've seen people from all walks of life, of all skin colors and everything, just not act right in there. So I'm not pointing the finger at any type of person who's like, I'm not being prejudiced against anybody. Different type of bozos go in there acting up.
This is why I'm just like, okay, as soon as well, right now I'm at, I'd say 90, 95% better. But I'm
Good.
just like, as soon as I'm 100 plus, I'm gonna do my damnness to stay out of the clinic because they set tripping there basically. They're just they have no clue what they're doing, and they want to charge these ridiculous copays, and I'm not having it anymore.
Well, I mean, I feel like you have to just nudge them a little bit more. Can you do your job just a little bit better, just a little bit? You know
And
what
you
I
shouldn't
mean?
have to. That's my point. They should already know how to get the job done, or
Well,
get their supervisor or somebody if they're not sure about something.
well, why do I have to go in there and go, well, do you maybe take this insurance? He also has this, I mean, why can't they go, well, do you have another form of insurance? I
I'm
mean,
like, look, I have.
why don't they just try just a little bit harder to make it a little bit easier on you? I mean, why
I'm
are
just
they,
like, look, I either have Medi-Cal or I have Anthem Blue Cross. Those are the only two I got.
well, Medi-Cal is the good one. That's the one that helps you. A lot of people have it during the pandemic now. Why didn't they ask? I mean, a lot of most people have it during the pandemic.
I've had it since before well, probably during actually. Come to think of it.
You've had it during the pandemic, and so have I. A lot of people have had Medi-Cal during the pandemic. Why didn't he ask that? Why did I have to bring it up? And I have it, and he knows we're partners. So why didn't he like say it?
It's like maybe if you call the number and do this and that. I'm not calling any more numbers. Let's just get that right out the way. I'm not calling any more numbers. I'm not paying any ridiculous copays. This is it. These last two, whatever's. That's it. I'm eating healthier from here on in. I'm just gonna go straight to the dentist and that's it.
Well, I don't understand why they're making it so hard.
Oh, and I did get some blood work done
Yes. Yeah.
just to make sure I don't have any diabetes or anything.
Did anything happen while you were in there? Because I wasn't there. I was at the pharmacy trying to like.
I was trying to tell you earlier, they just took like 3 vials.
So there's no adventures.
Like,
Like nothing happened. No screaming kids or anything.
oh, no, no, no. The nurse was pretty chill. I didn't hear any screaming children or anything.
Okay, so there's nothing to tell there.
Not really.
I'm just wondering why they don't like try harder to help or whatever at the pharmacy.
Try harder in this society.
Well, okay, if I become a pharmacist, I'm not gonna like slack. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say, well, do you have another form of insurance, maybe? Because a lot of
But
people,
another thing you gotta look out for when you're working for pharmaceutical companies, you have to play it their way. Otherwise, you're not gonna last very long. And that's part of the problem as well, because the way that they do things is unfair to everyone else.
well, my goal would to be giving people their pills and not making them mad. I want people to have their pills. I mean, would you rather hoard everybody's pills there and not give it to them? Or would you rather sell people their pills? You just fill their script. Wouldn't you rather give them their pills?
I'm just like, you guys
Or
just.
make people mad?
I was like, just set up your delivery services better so that way, because if you just get them on deliveries, you'll have less problems dealing with them.
Yeah, well,
We were trying to do that a few years back. We wanted to start doing the delivery service to get her meds over to her place, but something happened that didn't happen, and
Sometimes I just feel like I just want to go down there and make sure they're down there so they can't give me the runaround. Because I feel like they're not going to give them to me until they see my face. You know what I mean?
mm,
I feel like I have to like charm everybody into giving me my pills. Like I have to go down there and they're like, they're not ready yet. I'm like, well, then why did you text
I'm
me?
not gonna charm people. Not worth my time.
Well, no, but that's what I mean. It's like, why did you text me and say they're ready then? Like, why do you guys do that? Why do they do that? It's just like,
Why do they do a lot of things?
I don't get it.
Why
It's
do they want to make a Prop 29 an actual freaking thing?
Well, I don't understand why they do a bunch of things. I mean, it makes sense. Like they would try to make it as easy as possible.
Also, enough with the props already. Goodness gracious.
Well, the voting's going to start pretty soon. We're going to have that over
And
with.
people do not know how to vote right half the time.
No, they don't. But it just seems like
That's why I don't like voting, because I'm just like, oh, I'll vote the right way, but the rest of whomever.
it's going to be over with pretty soon. So, and then we're going to stop hearing all the freaking commercials, and people are going to like quit talking about it, and we're going to like get to not hear it anymore.
Because I keep seeing the whole Prop 29 on dialysis clinics. I'm just like, why is that even on the board? That's that's literally messing with people's lives right there. Like, how is that even a voting option?
It'll be over with soon.
Somebody must have been high when they voted that one in.
It'll be over with soon. That's all I have to say. But I don't know what the deal was with the pharmacy, though. That's all I have to say. But there's never a security guard in there. And like, how are they not having a security guard in a pharmacy with people who can't get their pills?
Why can't they have? I ask myself the same question when I'm riding RT
Why they can't have a security guard at the RT?
on the train, at least.
You mean like inside the
Inside
actual?
the actual train, yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Why don't they?
Like, I think it's mostly Sundays. I think they're like off duty or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because they should. Because people act a fool in there. Wow. Okay. Well, you want to talk about what happened on the way home?
Oh yeah. So after I got my meds and everything, we walked home, and this also happened on our way to the clinic. This person had two sheriffs on on her property. I don't know what was going on. She was screaming and yelling. Mrs. Peeman from The Mask. That's who. That's who the person sounded like screaming. I was like, no, no, no.
Do an impression of her.
It's like,
Do the thing she's doing with her arm.
yeah.
Yeah, she was like with her fist in the air. I thought she was a man.
I was like that scene from Willow where she's like,
Yeah, that. Yeah, she was doing like that. Yep. And I was like, "What's that man doing?"
I'm
and
like,
and he's like, "That's a woman."
I'm fairly certain it was a woman. It sounded like a very hoarse woman.
Yeah, and these people were just standing on the sidewalk going, "What? What did you say to me?" And I'm like, "Can you just walk away from that crazy person?" They must have just come from the pharmacy. That's why they were so mad. I don't know. But this was going on our way there. They were doing that. We were there, at the doctor's for like what, 2 hours. We came back, it was still going on when we walked home.
And then as soon as we crossed the street to get to the house, over to our left was a couple of sirens going off, or just the lights anyway.
And something was happening up the street. The cops blocked off like one whole block by our house. So something else was going on too. So
this is another police.
So it's like on one side was the lady screaming on the porch, and it had been going on for hours. And then on the other side of the street, the cops like blocked off like one whole block. Something was going on. So
I'm just glad to be back here.
and so, but he has his medicine, and they're not going to call him Ronnie anymore.
I should hope not. I switched it.
Yep. And I think we're good now. And what else?
Hmm. Should have been one or two more things with that.
Yeah. Seems like we had more funny stories to tell, but I can't think of what they are.
Um, that sounded like it was about it. Like can't really figure out what else there was.
You made a horse noise just now.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
do you see what I deal with? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but you are back on Instagram.
Yeah,
Astral Pro 92.
I decided to give my live a shot.
He did really well.
Like I figure just go live when I don't have my computer, since I can't do it on here just yet with my phone. Oh yeah, I got well, since I'm indoors and here, I guess I can say that I got my new Google Pixel. I was gonna say it outside because I know people are freaking crazy.
Yeah, the window's closed.
Oh, that was
Oh,
the other thing. So I wake up this morning. We're trying to sleep in peace,
I
and
knew we forgot something.
for some reason I say lawnmower. No, it's leaf blower.
Leaf blowers.
We have the city leaf blowers. For some everlasting reason, inside the gated community, getting rid of the leaves.
But they're hired actually by the building manager. And
The building manager, if they were actually professionals, they would have been like, you have to do it outside the property.
but what they do is the little sitting area right outside my window, which is never dirty. They stand right outside my open window and just stand out there like the leaf blower. And I mean, and it's first thing in the morning. And they walk back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and just walk around and around. And I think what they do is they pay them by the hour. So they just walk back and forth over and over and over first thing in the morning.
It's like,
And
guys,
they don't need to do that.
They already got rid of the leaves. So they're just doing this on purpose to make sure.
Yeah,
they're making sure that they get their money's worth.
Yeah, and there's nothing to there's no debris over there. It's that area is completely clean. I don't have anything over there. I don't keep anything over there. There's no leaves over there. There's no dirt. There's no nothing over there. They just walk back and forth just to burn up time. So they're walking back and forth over and over and over, and they're walking all over the property, just disturbing everybody's peace. And because I think they're just getting paid by the hour, so they're.
And I was waiting for them to leave, which didn't happen for at least an hour and a half.
And it's really disturbing to wake up to, because it's practically like they're just a few feet away from my ears in the morning. So we're waking up to a leaf blower like in our ear practically in the morning. And it's
and I had to close the window, which sucks because that's how the air gets into this.
Right, and this is not a very well ventilated place. We have to have that window open, so you would think they would see the window wide open and not stand right there with a leaf blower, like, you know. No. It's like, are you trying to make me move or something? Like, why are you doing this to me? It's
So I didn't sleep too well after I got up this morning. And then after I ran my errands, excuse me, need something to drink when I'm done.
Yeah.
After I came home, after running my errands this morning, I chilled out for a bit. I ate something. I was napping. I was so much at peace, and it sucked because I had to get up from my appointment, which we mentioned earlier.
I felt so bad. He looked so peaceful. I'm like, I have to wake him up to go to the doctor. I really don't want to. And I didn't feel like going either, but I'm thinking, you know
And
what? I'm not very supportive if I don't go with him. So I got ready to go and all this kind of stuff
I
too.
was
I didn't
getting
feel
ready
like
to go by myself. I'm just like, she's probably gonna stay here.
I didn't feel like going, but I'm like, no, I need to go and be supportive and let the doctor know what's going
Yeah,
on. And
who woke me up? No, I'm just kidding.
no, because I felt so bad about having to wake you up after seeing you so peaceful. I'm like, I'm gonna go with him. I'm going to be supportive after like the hard time that you've been going through. I'm going to go with you. I didn't feel like going, but I'm like, I'm going to go. I felt so bad for you.
I only slept for like freaking maybe a half hour.
Yeah, half hour, 45 minutes. I just felt so bad, but I couldn't let you miss the appointment.
Well, I don't have any appointments tomorrow, and I don't work until late afternoon, so I'm happy about
I'm
that.
going to let you sleep in as long as you can.
Bitter.
Ooh, sweet horse.
I'm joking.
I know. I know.
They're just like talk about want pressure.
Man, that couple's weirdos.
We are the weirdos, mister.
Yeah, we are the weirdos, mister. Yeah, well, we're the people that got woken up by leaf blowers right in our ears this morning. So I think we're, and had to deal with the pharmacy and all this weird stuff for the past 2 days. So I think we're doing okay. Is there anything else?
I think the leaf blower thing was the thing I can remember.
Yeah, that was not a nice way to wake up.
It's been happening for over the past couple years now.
Oh, I want to talk about the lady who harasses the mailman.
If you want to, go ahead. I mean,
Oh, okay.
got 3 minutes.
Okay. So here's the thing. All right. There's this woman, and I talk about it on the Juliana Angel show. Okay. But there's this woman in our
It's like,
building
sure.
show.
Like they don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you guys are my fans, you guys have heard me complain about this woman before. And let me tell you what happens, okay? I thought that she just had some issue because something of hers was not, speaking of pills, was not delivered in a timely manner. Okay. So what it was is she sent away for some organic pain pills and they were not delivered on time. Well, they finally did get delivered. So I thought, okay, the issue is over with. She got her pills in the mail. She's going to be fine. So I talked to her about it and everything. And it turns out that she just has some kind of fixation with the postal service. She calls them every day and harasses them. Every time a postal worker, every time she sees the postal truck come on to our block, she goes outside the gate and walks up and starts harassing the postal carrier when they go to the building beside us.
And
And
you
she,
think pups were bad against mail
oh
carriers?
yeah, yeah. I mean, but they can't mace her. So she starts harassing the postman or the postwoman when they get to the building next to us, and she harasses them the entire time when they come up the street and harasses them the entire time, and then they come and deliver our mail. She harasses them the entire time and then follows them as they go out the gate. So she's harassing them the entire time they're in the general vicinity. She harasses the postal carriers, all of them. So they won't come until after 9 p.m. because they don't want to be harassed by her. So we don't get the mail until sometimes like after 11 p.m. sometimes because they don't want to deal with her.
And I think this was the postmaster general's doing. I think somebody sent a complaint saying or actually maybe one or two people who usually come over here. They're just like, there's this elderly woman that continues to harass us during our hourly shifts, so on and so forth. Is it possible we can just deliver them when we're out? I'm just spitballing here. I'm not 100%.
No, no. I mean, you're speculating, right? I think that's what's happening because sometimes I send away for things, and then I'll get a text that says your package has just been delivered. And so I'll look at my thing and it'll go bing, your package has just been delivered. It'll be like 11:30 at night. Your package has just been delivered.
Here's the thing: people, the postal, excuse me, post people should be able to deliver their mail and packages without feeling the need to be harassed or unable to perform their duties properly.
I feel so bad for him. This lady, and I tried to talk to the lady about it. I really said to her, "You're having unhealthy ruminations." I said, "I really doubt that these postal workers are stopping and visiting with their friends. They probably, we're in the middle of a pandemic. There's probably people absent from their jobs, and they're having to pick up two people's routes. That's why they're late. Like, why don't you leave them alone? Leave them alone." And she said, "Well, what if I mail something to someone and it gets there a day late?" And I mean, she's really just obsessed with uh, the postal workers not doing their jobs and all this other. I mean, she's really, really obsessed with it. She goes, "Well, and I sent away for this and it got here late and all this stuff." And I said, "They have to come here every day but Sunday. Yeah, rain or shine. That's their motto. They
Rain,
have to."
sleet, snow.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
Okay, well they have to come here basically. And I said they have to, like, every day but Sunday. They have to. So they can't
And
skip a
she's
day.
so delusional. She thinks that the post comes on a Sunday, apparently.
Well, I don't. I think she has done that before, but she'll wait by the mailbox all day, and she'll stand by the gate all day and look, and she'll walk around and like stalk the postal workers, and she'll be on the phone all day talking to the people on the phone. Like, talk about being a Karen.
Scott, are you waiting for the package you just ordered?
No, she literally stalks the people. She actually, and she tells me about how she stalks the people. So she explains it to me, and I told her, "I don't think you should do that. I don't think that's nice. I don't think you should do that." And I said, "I you have unhealthy ruminations about the postal workers, and I don't think that's nice what you're doing to them." So I'm like, should I tell the managers what she's
Because
doing?
honestly, I can't think of a single soul, whether it be uh, irritated or in a good mood. I can't think of a single human who would actually make it to the point where post people could not complete their job during their regulated day shifts.
But have you ever heard of someone being obsessed with the postal workers?
Aside from dogs, no.
Okay, because I know dogs don't like him. Because they're trespassers on their property. I know
Or
that's.
the ladies who saying, "Hey, Mr. Postman."
Wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Those ones. But no, this woman is literally obsessed with the postal service, and she thinks they're not doing their job, and she goes, "They keep coming here later and later," and thinking, "They're hiding from you. They're hiding from you." And it's like,
Oh, they're called the Marvelettes. Okay.
okay, okay. Besides Marvelettes, this lady and the Marvelettes, they're hiding from her because I keep getting these ding when my packages come here, and it's like 11:30 at night. Bing, your package has arrived. I was like,
Nice to meet you, Chandler Bing.
bing. I'm like, when my packages are coming at 11:30 at night, they're hiding from this woman. They're coming here as late as they possibly can. At
Like they're just chilling at the post office. Like, hey, yo, bro, what time is it? 30 after 10. All right, let's get to the O Street Apartments and take care of business.
Yeah, that old lady has to be in bed by now. But she will wait by the mailboxes all day, and the other neighbors can't go over there because she's standing by the mailboxes, and she'll just
I'm
like talk
surprised it
everybody's ears
hasn't
off.
occurred to her, like, if they're delivering packages after she goes to bed. Like, she
Yeah.
probably thinks it's Santa Claus delivering the mail or something.
Well,
Because
I
she'll
mean,
wake up
yeah.
the next morning or afternoon, just be like, oh, I wonder if my mail finally came in today.
Well, I mean, I told her, I said, I don't think you should be doing that. And I said, thinking about the mail so much is not good for your health. And I was telling her these things. I said, you're having unhealthy ruminations. It's not good, because she has pain management issues. I go, it's not good for your pain management. So I was telling her from a medical standpoint, that's not good to obsess on things like that.
And the postal workers, as friendly as they can be with you, they're not trying to deal with your mess.
No, I mean, what she's doing. It's sick behavior. I understand she's mentally ill, but why the postal service of all things to be obsessed
Like,
with?
she shouldn't even be living in this community for starters. Like, she needs professional health care.
Well, I don't know like where her family is or anything like that. Like, and I'm thinking,
Somebody's gonna get her eventually kicked out.
well, I mean, I feel bad for the postal service. Like, should I tell the managers that she's harassing these postal workers? Like, is it my place to do that, or
I'm just like, somebody else is gonna say it.
because I watch her do it. I watch her leave, go down the street,
Because you
harass
already
the
have enough
postman.
on your plate as
I
this.
do, and I'm like, I want to mind my own business. I really don't want to get involved, but I'm like, I'm like, is it affecting me? But I'm seeing something that's going on that's not right. I see her harass. I'm watching her harass people, and
She's gonna do it to the wrong person. Watch.
well, I mean, she bugs me, but I'm enough of a boss to make her leave me alone. So I got her handled. But she's yeah, boss. I got her handled. I'm used to being harassed. I know how to just make people go away, but at this point, but like an old lady doesn't bother me, but she's harassing these posts and they're walking away from her just like, and they just have this look on their face, and the look on their face is like they have this look like I can't
Hear the
effing believe this.
original Scooby Doo score going off.
Yeah, like zoiks, zoiks. Like somebody wants to pull a mask off of her and see who the real monster is because she's just like,
Minor 49er, huh?
dude, zoiks, like
Zoinks, man.
I I thought it was just she wasn't getting a package that she was waiting for. I really thought that was the problem, and once that was solved, the whole mess would be over with. She wouldn't have a problem. No, she's still obsessed with the postal service. So I asked my friend who lives upstairs, "What's the deal?" And she goes, "Oh no." She goes, "Before you even moved in here, she's been obsessed with the postal service." And I go, "She's been on one about this for this long?" She goes, "Yeah, that's her whole deal." She goes, "You're not gonna talk any sense into her. You're not gonna like talk her down using psychology and stuff." She goes, "You kind of handle her pretty well, but she's gonna when you're not around, she's gonna start in on it again when you're not there to talk her down."
Well, now the postal workers figured out their own situation. Now they're just like, ha, now this gringa can't get us.
Yeah, they're like, okay, well, we're gonna deliver it, is because what they do is they'll wait till like after 9, after 11, like they figure, okay, this elder woman must go to bed, because like elder people usually get up like at like 4 or 5 in the morning. They figure she's probably in bed 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or whatever. So the mail doesn't come until super, super, super late. So when I go to check the mail, I kind of tiptoe around, like look around the corner to make sure she's not standing at the mailboxes, because if she is, she's going, "Does anyone know where the mail is?" And like she bugs everybody, and she like stands by the mailbox, and she doesn't let anyone pass by without interrogating them about what do they know about the mail. And she doesn't let people live their lives. And I'm like, it's right by the office. Why does the manager not see what she's doing?
I'm just like, go ahead and talk my ear off. I'm just gonna grab my mail and walk away anyway.
Well, no, I do that. I do that. I check the mail. I go, it doesn't look like it's here. And she goes, I see the outgoing mail. They don't ever take the outgoing mail. You know,
Because
I,
people like that, if you talk to them, you're enabling them to talk your ear off, which you don't want. Or
right.
if you ignore them and they think you're a womp rat, I'd rather be considered a womp rat than get my ear talked off by somebody who's condescending and all this other mess.
No, I just tell her the way you're thinking about the mail and everything is not healthy. I said, you need to go think about something
Just give
else.
them that Michael Jackson zombie thriller look. Just
I don't do that. I just said, I think you should go think about something else. I think you should go do something else. And I think you should think about something else. You thinking about the mail and talking about it is not doing anybody any good. And I think you should go do something else right now. And I'm going to go in my house right now. That's what I tell her. I just don't think this is healthy. And she goes, you don't? And I go, no, I don't.
yeah,
This
no
is,
spit. I don't.
I don't. I
I'm
said,
surprised you don't realize it's not healthy.
well, because she's mentally ill. I go, you thinking about the mail this much, I go, is not healthy. I
I
said,
know a bunch of mentally ill people. No, this is just an obsession.
well, it's an obsession, but obsessions are mental illness. She's obsessed with the postal workers, them not delivering the mail. She thinks they're up to something.
Yeah, they're putting anthrax in our envelopes again.
She might think that. I don't. She thinks. Okay, this is what she thinks. She thinks they're not doing their job because they're just kind of chilling out, talking to their friends and stuff.
I'm just like, what do you even care? All you get is AARP sign up cards and bills.
Well, she goes, well, what if my grandkids don't get their cards on time? I go, why don't you mail them like a week early?
Or wouldn't your grandkids let you know that they got their cards?
Well, I told her, I said, you know what I do with my grandson? I go down there to the UPS and I mail things from there. And she goes, well, I don't want to do that. I go, well, you don't have to deal with the postal service. She goes, isn't that expensive? I go, isn't your grandkids worth it? Mine are. And she goes, oh. she just kind of looks at me like
you just gave the little like
Did I make a psycho face just now?
yes. You guys are witnesses. You saw it. She was like, I will eat your heart.
But I mean, but the face I made to her, she just kind of like, I'm crazier than thou, you know, like I go, just go down to the UPS and send your things to your grandkids. She goes, but I don't want to do that. I go, well, you don't have to worry about the post office. And she just kind of looks at me and is like, womp, womp, womp. I go, the post office is out of the equation. You go down to the UPS. She goes, but I don't want to walk down there. I go, but you have a car? Womp, womp, womp.
Hire a task rabbit or something. Goodness gracious.
But I mean, it was just kind of like she had a problem for every solution. And she goes, well, that's a few dollars extra. And I'm like, so you don't have to worry about
that sound familiar.
And so it's your grandkids.
I'm like, you as the grandparent are supposed to spoil your grandkids.
I mean, okay, grandparents are on fixed incomes, right? But don't you spend, like, you grandparents out there, don't you spend your last on those kids? Yeah. But
my mom would if she could.
Well, every grandparent spends their last on their grandkids. Okay, whatever your last is, it might not be much, but you spend it on them. So I just said, you have a car, why don't you drive down there and send a card off UPS? I go, they're going to get it there early and you're not going to have to worry about the post office. And she's just like, looks at me like, and she just looked, I go, or you can just walk down there. She goes, I can't walk very far. And I'm like, I see you walking up all down the street, harassing the postal workers. You practically chase them like Scooby-Doo. Like, don't tell me that, you know. And I don't say that to her, but I'm thinking it.
There's a reason they're called postal
Yeah, they're
workers.
going postal. Well, now I know why they kind of like they want to lose it, because it's people. I've never seen this before. I've never seen somebody. Um,
Because it doesn't happen.
but I mean, to be fixated on the postal service. She thinks they're off. You know, the postal workers are chilling at somebody's house having a smoke or something. I don't. She just thinks they're just chilling or something. I think they're. I think they're taking breaks and hanging out at their friend's house. I'm like playing video games or something. Like, what do you think they're doing?
You're thinking of pizza delivery guys.
Yeah, I think that's what she's thinking of. She thinks the pizza delivery. You know, they're pizza delivery guys.
Because I know sometimes pizza delivery guys will be invited into a person's place to play like Xbox or something.
Well, yeah they do that, but she's thinking of that because people like to smoke weed with pizza delivery guys, but not postal workers. But she thinks they're not there on time because they have this really active social life, and that's why they're not doing their job. But if I had a bunch of mail, I would want to just be kind of just delivering it. I wouldn't want to just kind of take 2 hours off and just like not do something. Is she thinking of like Newman from Seinfeld? Like the
I
time.
guarantee you that's probably what it is. Because I guarantee you she's binge watching it and getting ideas from that.
Okay, because there was this one time that he took like three weeks off or something like that, and then Jerry dressed up like the mailman and even delivered the mail on Sunday because he wanted to just get all Newman's mail delivered. Maybe she saw that one, but that's TV.
Oh, you said she has mental health problems.
But every time she brings it up, I just tell her, having thoughts like this is not good for you. And then she looks at me like she's never heard anything like that before.
Yeah, right. I know she's one of those people who watches Seinfeld.
Well, TV's pretend.
I don't think she knows that.
I know. Well, she asked me if I watch TV, and I said no because TV's pretend. I even told her that. She asked me if I watched the news, and I said no because the news is pretend. And she looks at me like she didn't know that. Well, because a lot of old people don't know that. I said I don't like watching things that are pretend. I'm sorry, but I get lied to enough by the pharmacist, by everybody. I don't want to watch the news either. And
and
I don't
she
want to hear things about the mailman stopping and chilling at people's house and having a smoke and playing video games. It's just like, no, they just don't want to deliver the mail because you're out here. They're afraid to come because you're right here.
so that's basically our life in a nutshell, just for this week anyway. And she'd probably go on for another 2 or 3 hours with the lady in the postal work.
I I probably could. And it's probably boring, you guys. I'm so sorry. I just I can't get over what a trip this lady is. I mean, it's almost like she's a story character. She doesn't even seem like a real person because she's so. It trips me out how she is. I'm shaking that computer too much. But it just she seems
I know
unreal.
I'm sure they get used to it.
Yeah. Well, it's unreal how she is. I thought she was just freaking out because she wasn't getting her pills on time. I'm like, okay, well, this is just like someone at the pharmacy. No, she's obsessed with the postal carriers. But you're getting tired,
Yeah, it's been a long day.
and I'll keep telling more and more stories about her, and it'll keep getting weirder and weirder and weirder. But you should see the look on the postal carrier's face. That's the look on their face. Yeah, yeah, like it's they just
Norman Bates.
they just have this look on their face like what the actual f is going on here. And like they want to get out, like they're trying not to break into a run, Like they want to run away from her, and they can't believe what she's doing to them. It's insane.
That's an understatement at this point.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm done talking about her because I could see her getting tired.
Yeah, it's been a long day, but I'm also losing batteries, so I'm gonna
Okay, let's sign off.
sign off. Um, I'll see if I can get to you guys tomorrow. Most likely before work or maybe the day after. I'm not 100% sure. But that's pretty much what we experienced this past week or so.
Yes. I hope that story wasn't too boring, you guys. I'm sorry.
She'll probably go on her channel and explain it further.
No, I don't think I'm going to do that to anybody.
They're just like, don't torture us anymore.
No, no, I think
No.
they've probably had enough of her by now.
Ah!
Unless you guys want to hear more, but you probably don't. She's awful. Okay. Well, good night, otherworldlies,
Good night, Astralites.
and we'll catch you next time.